Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing one of my favorite watches of 2018, a 2018 limited edition of 500 pieces in stainless steel. This is the Sinn 103 SABE. 500 pieces with an extraordinary vintage-inspired blue ecru color combination. The timepiece is a throwback to the days when Helmut Sinn himself helped craft and service watches in this very image for the German Luftwaffe. In fact, you can probably say that the godfather of this watch design is the original Heuer Bund 1550 that flew with the Luftwaffe in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now, the watch on my wrist is an easy 41 millimeters to wear. It looks big, but it's not. 41 is very reasonable. The only large dimension of this watch is the thickness, which is a rather surprising 16.2, but a lot of that is the domed plexiglass style, vintage evocative sapphire. We'll talk about that in a moment. Lug-to-lug, it's a friendly piece for a small wrist. 47.4 millimeters. I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. Once more, for scale, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs is a very universal 20 millimeters. You can find 20 millimeter straps everywhere, but the factory strap is surprisingly impressive. Not because it's well made, you expect Sinn straps and accessories to be well made, but because it's so buttery smooth. I didn't expect this from a company that's built its name on hardcore sports watches and tool style timepieces. But the leather right here, the calfskin, is remarkably thin in profile, and you can see it is a very rustic sheer cut showing you the layers. There's a contrasting stitch binding it, and then you can see it's got a little bit of an aged sort of finish to it in a medium brown, but what really sets it apart is just how broken in this new Sinn factory strap feels, and you can see it is a new strap. It is incredibly soft. It's almost creamy. I like it. It's just unexpected on a watch of this character. Simple Sinn pin buckle, easy on the fly adjustments, and consistent with the quasi-vintage vibe of this watch. This is a proudly German watch. As you can see, automatic with a K on the dial. The calendar is entirely in German, and on the case back, it's 1 of 500, again in German. So this is a timepiece that's redolent of the country and the manufacturer from which it sprung. It's important to remember that Sinn of Frankfurt was one of the few German watch brands that is not a product of the modern Saxon watchmaking boom. Sinn, established in the early 1960s, has consistently been building sports and professional style watches since that time. And you can see how this watch combines some of its modern imagery with some historic iconography, starting with the use of a case that's both reminiscent of the Heuer Bunds and also of Sinn classics. You can see the little bit of a beveling on these strong, geometrically insistent lugs. Easily recalls the famed Sinn EZM1 of the 1990s. So you've got that imagery, but you've also got the imagery of the Bund. Simple, vintage-inspired pump-style pushers, a little bit of a sheer guard for the Sinn S logo crown, all of high polish. Because the case is so dramatically stepped back on the reverse side, it looks a lot thinner than it is on the wrist. Anodized aluminum blue bidirectional rotating pilot's bezel. This is a useful appurtenance on a chronograph because the chronograph counts up, the bezel counts up, but the chronograph only counts up to 30, whereas the bezel counts up to 60. So having that secondary timing organ can be useful if you're not timing something as long as an hour, but you're timing something longer than 30. Of course, it moves bidirectionally. It is very smooth. It has a large ecru-colored simulated patina luminescent index. The dial, with its syringe hands white varnished with ecru luminova, designed to evoke a vintage Sinn watch that might have aged gracefully from the time of tritium dials. The dial is a sensational metallic blue, and as you can see, highly reactive in my light box. The ecru coloration is faux tina, and not everyone's into that, but I like it when it's an effective complementary color, and the combination of blue, white, and ecru here is absolutely sublime. The chronograph is well tuned. It's a cam system chronograph based on a high-grade Valjoux 7750. Let's get a little bit closer and take a look. When I stopped the balance, I realized it was a splayed spoke balance, so either top or chronometer grade. It's nicely executed. Automatic winding, 42-hour power reserve, 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate, stop seconds. It features a double quick set for both the day and the date. A 25 jewel movement, nicely executed. It features a lot of optional finishing flourishes, mechanical execution of course, but still quite nicely decorated, things you don't get on a basic grade 7750. Tuned in-house by Sinn, I would bet this watch keeps chronometer grade time. 20 bar, more than you would expect for a pilot's watch. You don't expect vintage Submariner levels of hermeticity when you buy a watch that looks like it belongs at 20,000 feet. But in fact, this is a 20 bar, 20 ATM, 200 meter watch with a screw down crown, so one of the few pilot style chronographs that can also be submerged and substantially employed for any manner of aquatic activities. Just remember, this is a bi-directional, not diving bezel. I love this piece. It's got character, it's got soul, the price is right, and the company behind it has integrity. You can see and you can purchase this Sinn 103 SABE limited edition of 500 pieces on the watch box. And we're back with the Sinn 103. As you can see, plenty of lume on the bezel as well as the dial, with a loomed chronograph seconds hand, particularly useful on a tool style watch.